In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 10, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Georgia Southern versus Nebraska. This Saturday, the Georgia Southern Eagles and the Nebraska Cornhuskers will match up in Week 2 of the 2022 college football season. Kickoff will be inside Memorial Stadium. This will be the 3rd game of the season for Nebraska, but only the 2nd for the Eagles. Both teams picked up a win last week. The Georgia Southern Eagles are coming into this one after defeating Morgan State 59-7. That game was never close as the Eagles continued to drive up and down the field. Their passing attack carried them through Week 1. The Nebraska Cornhuskers picked up their first win of the season last week as they took down the University of North Dakota 38-17. The Cornhuskers racked up 437 total yards of offense as they were moving the ball on the ground for the majority of that game. After the Nebraska Cornhuskers botched their Week 0 matchup against the Northwestern Wildcats, they bounced back in Week 1 with a win against the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. Despite winning the game, the Cornhuskers were tied at halftime, further proving they really should not be a team to trust on a regular basis. Nebraska needed a big 4th quarter and a huge performance from running back Anthony Grant to put this game away, and that was against an FCS opponent. Meanwhile, the Georgia Southern Eagles are coming off a 59-7 win over the Morgan State Bears. Like North Dakota, Morgan State is also an FCS school. However, Georgia Southern did not struggle against them in the slightest. They torched the Bears through the air as quarterback Kyle Vantrease went 29 for 46 with 367 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Cornhuskers have been double-digit favorites in both of their games this season, which resulted in an outright loss and a 21-point win where they failed to cover the spread against the Fighting Hawks. They are favored by even more this week against a top-end Sun Belt team that has plenty of playmakers and the ability to hang with teams of this caliber. The way Nebraska is playing right now, there is no way laying more than 3 scores is worth the risk. For that reason, backing the Eagles looks to be well worth a play. All things considered, though, I simply don't trust the Cornhuskers to manage a cover in this one. So the Georgia Southern Eagles to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The total is much trickier because it is hard to know which Nebraska we are going to get. The Cornhuskers played well in their Week 0 game against Northwestern before falling apart in the 4th quarter where they failed to score in a game that ended with 59 total points. Last week, their offense was horrible in the first half, scoring just 7 points before a 31-point second half vaulted them to a 21-point win. Still, this game resulted in 55 points, which is still under the total set for this game. Georgia Southern's only game resulted in a total of 66 points, but their offense is surely going to regress and not going to score 59 points against Nebraska, despite the struggles they have had this season. We should get scores from both sides, but there is always a chance that the Cornhuskers will start slowly again. There's no doubt that both teams are capable of putting up points, but with Nebraska's current struggles, I can't see this going over 63 points. Georgia Southern only averaged 20 points per game last year, and while I expect that to improve this season, I don't see this as their breakout game. Nebraska will more than likely take this one straight up, but anything over 60 is too high in my book. With a total this high, any slow start would derail this total, which is what Nebraska is known for this season. Therefore, betting on this one being a low-scoring game is the smart play. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Tarleton State versus TCU. The Tarleton State Texans and the TCU Horned Frogs meet in Week 2 college football action from Ammon G. Carter Stadium on Saturday night. The Tarleton State Texans will look to build on their 29-13 season-opening win over Mississippi Valley State last time out. Bo Allen threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on 23 of 38 passing, while Deangelo Roseman had a team-high 107 rushing yards in the winning effort. Ontario Douglas also added 43 rushing yards as well in the win. Gabe Douglas led Tarleton's receiving corps with 126 receiving yards on 5 catches, while Jadon Smith had a team-high 11 catches for 95 receiving yards with all 3 touchdown catches for the Texans in the win. The TCU Horned Frogs will look to build on their 38-13 season opening opening win over Colgate last time out. Chandler Morris has thrown for 111 yards, but is going to miss a significant amount of time with an injury. Kender Miller leads the Horned Frogs with 52 rushing yards, while 4 other Horned Frogs have at least 40 rushing yards as well this season. Savion Williams also had a team-high 3 catches for 31 yards for TCU. On defense, D. Winters and Demonic Williams each have a sack as well this season. TCU is under a new coaching staff after the departure of legendary coach Gary Patterson, and this program is retooling this season. The Horned Frogs come off a 38-13 win over Colorado in which they rarely had to throw the ball, amassing 275 yards on the ground. It is unclear whether this will be the offensive identity for the Frogs this season, or if this was just how the game was going. Tarleton State opened with a 29-13 victory over Mississippi Valley, tallying nearly 500 yards of balanced offense. Typically, these matchups between Power 5s and FCS are lopsided, and TCU is in no danger of losing. Yet there are some reasons this game might stay closer than the spread. One reason is that Tarleton State is competent on offense, led by Kentucky transfer Bo Allen. Allen posted 294 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. Although his 23 of 39 splits were inefficient, TCU is especially rebuilding their defense, and there will likely be a breakdown or two that gets Allen and the Texans in the end zone. Another reason is that TCU will be without their starting quarterback, as Chandler Morris will miss this week due to a knee injury. Morris made his splash last year in the upset of Baylor in his first start at TCU. That said, TCU entered the season without an established starter anyway, and there is not a major drop-off to Max Duggan. The question is whether the Frogs may look to keep the ball on the ground again this week to avoid disaster, or if they will put it in the air some. TCU will control this game, but a couple of scores by the Texans should be enough to keep it under the spread. So Tarleton State to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Does TCU remain content to run the ball, control possession, and stay safe? Or do the Frogs take the opportunity to work on the passing game that was rarely utilized against Colorado in the opener? Even without last week's starting quarterback available, I suspect TCU will put the ball in the air a bit more this week with Max Duggan. The Frogs need to put a balanced attack on film to force future opponents to prepare for it, and they need to work out some things for their own sake. On the other side of the ball, Kentucky transfer Bo Allen appears to have command of this Texans offense. He probably won't throw for another 300 yards this week, but if his efficiency ticks up a bit more, there is no reason Tarleton can't score some. The TCU defense is not exactly impenetrable, even if Colorado flopped at the task in Week 1. If the Texans find the end zone just a couple of times, we should be able to get past this total number. There is some fear that TCU will grind it out on the ground and keep the scoring down, but I do not see the benefit. This is a get-right week for the Frogs before heading across town to SMU next week. This game total will likely come down to pace of play. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Hawaii versus Michigan. Arguably the biggest mismatch on the gridiron for the week comes to you from the Great Lakes State as a program from the Mountain West takes a swing at one from the Big Ten. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are on the road as they travel to face the number 4 Michigan Wolverines in a non-conference tilt Saturday night. Hawaii comes in off a 49-17 pasting at home by Western Kentucky in their previous game last Saturday. Michigan rolled past another Mountain West school as they clobbered Colorado State 51-7 at home last Saturday. In the all-time series between the schools, the Wolverines have won all 3 meetings, including a 63-3 home win in the most recent matchup on September 3, 2016. Let's be honest, this game has blowout city written all over it. Hawaii has given up a combined 112 points in their first 2 games this season, including 63 to a Vanderbilt program that has been a doormat in the Southeastern Conference for years. Both those games came at home, and now they have to go on the road to the Big House in front of 100,000-plus rabid fans. Colorado State proved to be no match for Michigan in the opener, and you have to know damn well that Hawaii is an even worse team than the Rams. Michigan could have piled up even more points last week, and you have to think they can randomly call a number before kickoff and hit it. You have to think, even giving more than a 50 burger, that Michigan can cover this line at will. The Hawaii defense is allowing an average of 56 points per game and will be scored on easily on the ground and through the air by the Wolverines' offense. Michigan's defense will shut down a below-par Hawaii offense. The Wolverines have covered the number in 6 of the last 7, while the Rainbow Warriors have failed to cover the nut in 7 of the last 9. Hawaii will be no match for Michigan on offense or defense. Give the points as this one is a romp. So the Michigan Wolverines to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Hawaii has split their 2 games in relation to the total this season. The Rainbow Warriors combined for 73 points in their loss to Vanderbilt to blow past the total of 54 points in the opener. Last week, Hawaii fell just short of the mark, combining with Western Kentucky to score 66 points against a total of 67 points. Hawaii has gone over in 3 of their last 4 games entering this contest. Michigan fell short of the total in their season opener against Colorado State. The Wolverines combined for 58 points in the game to end up under the 60.5-point total. Michigan might not get any help from Hawaii when it comes to putting points on the board. As a result, this contest ends up falling short to the total by a couple of points. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.